I'm Catherine, 28 years old. Before I got married, my mother remarried, making us a family of four with a stepfather and a stepsister, Betsy, who are blood related to me. Even so, I get along quite well with my stepfather and Betsy. Betsy is 4 years younger than I am. I grew up in this family environment, but I had always dreamed of living on my own. My mother had financial struggles, so I did not want to burden her. Since she had settled down after remarrying, I wanted her to take it easy, to be able to live on my own. I started working night jobs during my student years and saved money. Once I became a working adult, I was able to fulfill my dream of living alone immediately. Of course, I never told my mother about the night jobs, and she has never found out. I would say, I have a part-time job, or I'm going out with friends, so I'll be home late to cover things up. I also made sure to dress modestly so as not to give away my night job. Through such efforts, I steadily built up my career. Honestly, I had my fair share of romantic encounters. But I ended up marrying a man introduced by my lovely sister Betsy. My husband, Tom, was an employee at the pharmacy where Betsy worked part-time. He's well liked by the staff and has a good reputation for his personality. During our first year of marriage, we were very much in love. Tom actively helped around the house and was quick to finish work. He hardly ever worked late and would come home early. When I was feeling unwell, he would make me something easy to eat. He was generally very considerate. However, there was one troublesome issue. He had a bit of a spending habit. He would buy whatever he wanted without hesitation. Because he loved traveling, it was hard to save money. As someone who likes to save, I was a bit troubled by his spending habits. But, since there were no other issues, I decided to accept him with a generous heart. Together as a family, we supported each other. But in the second year of our marriage, I started to think that something was off with Tom. He began coming home late more often and seemed cold or indifferent. Tom would say it was sales season or that he was rolling out a new project at work. The overtime became more frequent. Because it's a chance for promotion, he would also go out drinking with higher-ups more often. It was great that he had a chance for advancement, but wasn't he too cold? It felt like he was neglecting me. When I started to suspect something about Tom's behavior, I discovered it. On a day when I went out shopping with a friend, I saw Tom and Betsy holding hands like a couple at the shopping mall. Daytime shopping mall date. He was supposed to be at work. Fortunately, my friend was preoccupied with choosing clothes inside a clothing store, so she didn't notice. But what should I do now? Seeing them together shocked me, and I couldn't focus on shopping anymore. I made an excuse to my friend and we split up early. I was so upset that I couldn't go straight home. To calm myself down, I decided to take a detour. Before I knew it, I had walked to the area near the nightclub where I used to work. Then, a client who used to favor me and take care of me when I worked there happened to pass by. What timing! This client was the president of a company. His daughter, who looked a lot like me, had passed away from a serious illness. According to him, we were spitting images of each other. He knew about my family situation and always looked out for me.
Catherine, you're like a daughter to me. If you're ever in trouble, just let me know.
He would always say that, and it was truly reassuring.
Oh, isn't that Catherine? What's with the long face? That's unusual for you.
I was too embarrassed to talk about my situation.
Here, take this.
He handed me a black credit card. Zup. I really can't accept this.
There are things you don't want to talk about right now. I won't ask. If you ever want to talk, just call me anytime.
But I really can't take this card.
When I lost my daughter and was in despair, I met you at that store, Catherine. Watching you grow up reminded me of how my daughter would have grown. I sometimes think, what if my daughter were still alive? I really enjoyed the times until you left the job and became an adult.
Well, but
My wife grew up poor, so she hardly spends any money. And my son earns his own money. This card is for you to use freely. Go shopping, eat out, do whatever you like.
He looked at me with such warmth, as if he were speaking to his own daughter. I couldn't rudely refuse, and while I was conflicted, he handed me the card and walked away. Although he gave me the card, I couldn't use it and decided to contact him to meet again over the weekend. We had exchanged contact details back when I was working. Until the weekend, I thought I should try to solve this problem by myself and casually asked Tom about it. Hey, you've been coming home late recently, haven't you?
Are you suspecting something?
Is it really overtime?
I'm really working hard.
Haven't the late nights been frequent these past few months? After asking about 3 times, Tom's facade fell away.
Enough already. Yes, that's right. I'm working hard on other things too.
What does that mean?
You don't need to know about that. Just be quiet and support your husband.
I saw you. With my sister, cheating.
You saw that.
What's that about? You were cheating with Betsy?
Yo, that's right. I've been seeing your sister. Even before we got married.
He confessed that it had been going on even before he met me. I can't believe it. He was so kind, caring, and domestic during our first year together. Was he too ideal to be true? Because he had another side. It was the worst. I can't believe he turned out to be that kind of person. The thought of divorce crossed my mind. But surely, it's too soon, right? To have been involved with my sister even before we got married. Even if we broke up, what would I do next? While I was pondering all this, the weekend of our promise came in no time. I put the card in a cloth bag and stored it in a drawer. It would be terrible if I lost it or it got damaged. But on the promised day, perhaps because of the affair, I was tired and overslept. As for Tom, he had left the house saying I have a business trip since the previous day, so there was no one to wake me up. I rushed out of the house without a chance to check inside the drawer. I just stuffed the bag into my purse. Since then, I haven't opened the drawer, and the card has been left inside. I hurried to the meeting place. I arrived about 2 minutes earlier than planned at the gathering spot. So before meeting him, I thought I should check the card just in case and open the bag, but it's not here. The card is gone. Thinking maybe, I immediately called Tom. Hey, just a second.
Yo, what's up?
Where are you right now?
Where? Or rather, I didn't know you had such a nice card.
I knew it. Wait, that's...
Chill. I'm going to have some fun. By the way, your sister's with me.
Wait, wasn't it a business trip?
Yeah, a vacation named business trip. The Maldives.
The Maldives? Wait, aren't you supposed to be in the US? I usually deal with cash, so I don't carry cards around. I always kept it in my bedroom desk, and Tom, who was in the same room, knew that. Before the trip, Tom's own card had hit its limit, and he seemed to be panicking. That's when he rummaged through my desk and took my card. He must think what's mine is his. He probably thought he was lucky when he found a black card. About that card, I wanted to explain, but the call was abruptly cut off. At the same time, the president arrived. But this time, I've come to terms with it. I've decided to get a divorce. It's not about the amount on the card. That's not the point. Moreover, taking someone else's card. For a cheating vacation with Betsy. I was so furious, I confided everything to the president. Of course, I also told him about my decision to divorce.
Then, shall we give him a lesson?
The president made a call somewhere right there. Then, about 5 minutes later, my phone wouldn't stop ringing with frantic calls from Tom. What did you do?
I put a stop on the card.
Tom and his group had just arrived at their destination in the Maldives.
So that's why he seemed out of it that day. Should we just lock him up in the Maldives?
The president, despite his capable and strict aura, had a mischievous side. I tried to turn off my smartphone or silence it, but after thinking surely not. I answered the phone about an hour later.
Hey, Catherine.
Hello?
Answer the phone already. By the way, this card suddenly stopped working. What's going on?
As I answered, The president gestured to me to hand him my phone.
Hello, it's me.
Who is this?
Don't you recognize my voice? Got it?
Mr. President. Tom's deflated voice was heard. The president had kindly put it on speaker, and I could hear everything from the other side. It turned out that Tom's boss was actually the president.
What exactly are you doing with that card?
Tom turned pale. Tom had no words to say.
If you really want to stay in the Maldives, then stay there.
No, that.
If you want to come back to the US, come back on your own.
Wait a minute.
When you get back, you know what's next, right?
With that, the president hung up. Just before disconnecting, I heard Tom's faint voice. Wait, you're kidding, right? It was kind of cool. Almost made me fall for him.
Actually, there's this guy in our company who takes all his vacation days but doesn't increase sales, which troubles the people on the ground. Moreover, he leaves work early but dumps overtime on other employees. I've heard this from others too.
Could it be that?
He was the one.
How should I put this? I thought he was actually going to work. Indeed, his behavior has been odd since this year.
At work, he seemed to be getting by just muddling through. The person in charge at the scene seemed to want to wrap his head around it. So, recently I held a dinner to see what kind of person he was.
That time, I had heard it was a chance for promotion.
Is that what he told you?
That's what he told me.
I was wondering what to do as a company, but did it turn out to be a good punishment?
He trapped Tom in the Maldives as a form of retaliation for me. That turned out to be quite a revenge. But I haven't taken matters into my own hands yet. So for the final touch, I explained everything to Tom's parents. It was indeed awkward to report such a situation in our second year of marriage. At first, Tom's parents couldn't understand the situation right away. When I talked about the president, they seemed to take the matter seriously. Their replies were, "That damn lazy son," and "He's been muddling through too smoothly." Even his parents were furious. For now, I decided to have them pick him up from the Maldives. Imagine his parents coming with a demonic look. It's like hell itself. Later, I heard from my in-laws that after they asked him, "Why do you know this?" he immediately started bawling. Given the situation, it's understandable that he cried. But Tom's father is truly intimidating. He's a former Olympic judo athlete and now a stern coach training athletes. Tom seemed to have practiced judo as a kid but didn't have the knack for it. He was drilled by his father during his childhood, which became a trauma, and he's been uncomfortable with his father for a while. If anything, he has the soft demeanor of his mother. His mother is a really kind and intelligent person. For Tom, who is proud and cares about his image, the punishment from the president might have been a good sanction. Since then, Tom has been keeping his distance from Betsy, with whom he had an affair. It seems they met at work and it led to an affair. They were attracted to each other, but Betsy was already married. That's why she said, "Why don't I introduce you to my sister? She's still single." Then, he caught on to her and said, "If I marry your sister, we can be closer to each other." It seems like they were planning to deceive me more cleverly. But since I had already seen them cheating, they stopped deceiving and dodging. Why would you be with such a person?
Always, always, my sister is the sneaky one.
What do you mean?
It's always been like that. Sis, everyone adores and loves you. It's unfair. You're able to behave properly and blend in with everyone. I, who have no particular talents, had no choice but to endure. I had to pretend to admire you silently.
Have you always felt that way?
I wanted to trouble you and always wanted something I could win at.
But still, isn't that a bit too harsh? She confessed her true feelings. Betsy's husband seemed to have noticed as well. When I found out about the affair, he thought something was odd and had hired a detective agency. Now, Betsy is being sued for alimony. Since she is also being sued by me, she's working day and night to make payments. We have shared a bond because we grew up together, but honestly, I couldn't forgive her. Currently, Betsy is divorced and living in a shabby apartment, and That daytime cheating shopping. Tom was supposed to work late that day but left home early saying I have an early shift. After that, he seemed to have gone to work. Is it that he's good with time management or something else? Maybe he's just good at hiding things. It seems he didn't even try to hide it halfway through. Although he had a terrible spending habit, ultimately the money was disappearing on gifts for Betsy. Then, I confronted Tom with a divorce. It's troublesome how he begged not to break up.
Catherine, please.
Huh?
I won't do it, Catherine. I won't get divorced.
Hasn't your character changed? Keep that for Betsy. That's creepy.
I don't want a divorce.
Because you cheated? It's totally unacceptable.
It'll ruin my public image.
I don't care about that.
I absolutely won't get a divorce.
Should I consult the president? I made him understand that it's pointless and got a divorce. It was uncomfortable to stay at the company, so he submitted his resignation upon his return. Well, if you're under direct pressure from the president, his parents really scolded him. He's now living under his father's supervision at his parents' house. Imagine getting picked up by your own parents because you traveled with someone else's card and ran out of money to return home. After that, I got the alimony perfectly. I made sure the president reimbursed the Maldives trip expenses. I haven't told Tom about my connection with the president, so he was shocked. He knew I had worked night shifts before. I knew he was the president, but I hadn't heard about the company. It was only when I got the phone call that I learned it was at Tom's company. Even I was surprised at that moment. Having divorced, I decided to live alone. Considering Betsy and the fact that my father-in-law is at my parents' house, things might get awkward. So, I decided not to return home. I haven't quit my job, so I requested a transfer to a different region. Will there ever come a day when I can forgive Betsy? I wonder as I start a new, more relaxed life.